I want to take a little detour from my usual video of simply solving problems to pass on a little bit of analysis or a way to analyze something that every one of you has had the opportunity to purchase, and that's an extended warranty. So for many years, I've known that, the extended warranties, for the most part, are not a very good deal, but I never had a great way of communicating them. They're usually set, the price seems to be reasonably low, 20 bucks or something. Should I buy that warranty? And they tend to be pushed pretty hard at the stores you go to. If it's a bricks and mortar store or online, when I buy on Amazon, I always get the chance to, add some, 2-year protection program, you know, and many times it's for something that's just simply not going to break. Or if it is, it's not going to break for a long time. So, how do you evaluate this? So I started thinking about it. I would tell people, friends and family, you just shouldn't buy the extended warranty, but I didn't have a good way to think about it. So what came to me is you should think about what percentage you pay to insure something. For example, your house or the stuff in your apartment. So let's figure out the percentage. So the dollar premium you pay divided by the dollar coverage. Now this isn't, a perfect way to evaluate insurance. Insurance is based on, the probability of something happening. But this gives us a reasonably good gauge, something to compare to. So I looked at my homeowner's policy and I looked at the premium per year, and it turns out to be less than, in fact, I just renewed my policy recently, so I know what I paid. It was less than 0.375% of what I think is probably the value of my home. And this also includes $1 million umbrella liability policy, but I only evaluated it not on the $1 million, but on what the value of my house was. And for an apartment, okay, so many of you are renting apartments, and I looked at the insurance that my son pays for the apartment that he's living in. So I looked at the premium divided by the coverage for his stuff, and it was something like 0.68%. So this is not 6.8%, this is not 68%, this is 0.68%, so less than 1%, so a little bit more than 0.5%. Let's just round up to 1%, okay, of the value of what you're insuring. So how does this compare to some extended warranty costs that you've encountered and that I've encountered? Okay, recently I bought a $180 TV from Best Buy. And the extended warranty, I'm pretty sure, was for 2 years. And based on this 1% rule, it should be about $1.80 per year, about $3.60. Best Buy wanted 20 bucks. Of course, the guy who was the the salesperson, was trying to convince me it's only 20 bucks. Well, that's a pretty high percentage, for insuring the TV. Also, as I told him, if the TV dies, I'll just buy another one. Okay, TVs tend to last a long time. All right, I actually was looking at a TV I happen to have here. It used to belong to my parents. It's from 2006. Okay, it's a nice one. It's a Sony, but it's 18 years old. Still works pretty well. It's so old it only has one HDMI port, but it still works fine. Okay, I had another TV. The reason I bought this TV is because I had another one that died. That was a plasma screen. You don't see plasma screen TVs anymore, so that's been I had that probably for 15 years or more. I can't remember when I bought it, but I had it a long time, and this is only covering for 2 years. Let's take a look at some other ones. So, on a $1,000 guitar purchase from Guitar Center, they offered an extended warranty for 5 years, and again, if you use that 1%, cost of that I rounded up, I really rounded up from my homeowners and renters policies. That's $10 a year, or about $50 for 5 years. What did Guitar Center want? They wanted $300. Okay, how often does a guitar break? Okay, unless you're a rock and roll star bashing it, on stage, they last a long time if you take care of them. If you have an acoustic guitar, you have to keep it moist. So they make these little humidifiers. Basically, it's a sponge that you moisten and you put it in the whatever, the sound hole. And when you leave it in the case, it lets off a little bit of moisture so that the wood doesn't dry out. If you've ever gone to Guitar Center, you'll notice the acoustic guitars are in a separate room because they keep the humidity at the right level so the wood doesn't dry out. Let's take another one, something more common that many of you have purchased. So I was looking online at Apple, and I priced out a $1,300 iPhone. I think it was one of the iPhone 16s. At 1%, again, that would be about $13 a year, or $26 for 2 years. Apple Care costs $199, and if you want the theft protection, I think it's like $269. Now, I realize that phones probably break more often than houses burn down, fortunately. But again, that just seems to be an awful lot. And let me offer you one more. I looked at the LensCrafter site, okay, the eyeglass place. So $34.99 for non-progressive glasses and $44.99 for progressive glasses. Those are the ones where you have, reading and, distance in the same, lens. All right. So if you bought a pair of $500 glasses, a fair cost would be maybe $5. This is for a year, right? Instead, they're charging $34.99 or $44.99. So when you think about insurance, you really should only insure for catastrophic losses. That's, if your house burns down, if my house burned down, that would be catastrophic. That would be an enormous loss to me financially. Okay, lost wages, or for that matter, lost services. So if you happen to be married and your spouse is at home watching the kids, if something happens to your spouse, you're going to have to pay for that service, right? Your spouse is watching the kids and not charging you. So you need life insurance on that person too. But somebody's the main wage earner, again, if something happens to that person, that's a significant and a catastrophic loss to a family. Disability, also healthcare costs can be enormous, right? You go in, if you've ever been to the hospital, the emergency room, you broke your arm, the bill can be several $1,000s between the x-rays and somebody setting your arm. And if you happen to have something significant like cancer or a heart attack or something like that, the cost can run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Again, that's catastrophic for all but the wealthiest people. So you should keep in mind that Best Buy, Guitar Center, LensCrafter, Apple, and every other business, they're not in the business of doing you a favor to protect your purchase. They're in the business of making money. But so is my insurance company. Yet they somehow manage to make money insuring my house at 0.375% or less than that. Now again, I realize that it depends on where you live and other risks are involved, but let's be honest, I don't think the difference is that big a deal. I'm sure some of you have bought AppleCare and never had to file a claim. I'm sure there are many people, and I know people who have gotten the protection on their eyeglasses and never filed a claim. All right, my son's had that guitar that he bought for several years now. It's still fine. And even if it broke, if something happened to it, aside from him smashing it, which probably wouldn't be covered, if something happened, it might cost $100 to get it fixed. So, how do you protect yourself? Take the amount you would pay for an extended warranty and put it in an account. Okay? many of the items you've purchased won't need repair, so you'll just be accumulating money. And so if you need to repair that cracked screen on your iPhone, there'll be some money there for you. Okay, you're probably going to be way ahead. I mean, some of the things they want to insure are just silly. I've seen, if you were to try and go on Amazon and try and buy let's say a barbell, right? Just the bar. It's a big piece of steel. They'll probably ask you if you want to pay $5 for an extended warranty. It's a big piece of steel. Nothing's going to break on it. Unless you're lifting like 2,000 pounds, then maybe the bar would snap. But, that's just sort of silly. The other thing you should keep in mind is you should check with your credit card company. I've been bad about this, so I haven't taken advantage of this. But, American Express, for example, adds up to one extra year of coverage for $10,000 per item and up to $50,000 per year. And Chase, Citi, and Capital One all offer similar protections on at least some of their cards. So you may not even need to buy the extended warranty. You may already have it, in the plan, in the credit card that you happen to have. So I hope this gives you a little better way to evaluate whether, the electronics store or the guitar store or, place you get your eyeglasses is offering you a fair deal. I'm not saying that extended warranties should never be purchased, but at least evaluate them on a reasonable basis. And if it seems like they're charging you 10 times more than is reasonable, then maybe you should walk away from it.